You are listening to the voices of the Occultinarium. Get your shovels and get ready to dig another rabbit hole. Welcome. Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of the Occultinarium. We are the voices of the Occultinarium, and tonight's host,
Luigi.
Melly.
and Lynn. As you can see, Adriana is missing tonight, but we're hoping she will be back soon for our next episode. Tonight, we shall take up the tarot decks again and continue our little episodes about the cards. So as we're recording today is the 11th of July, Saturday, and we're still in the second decan of Cancer. So we shall talk about the Three of Cups. Yes, as Luigi and everybody except for me is holding up.
Everybody.
So there we go. The Three of Cups and the Smith version, the Thoth version. Amelie's holding up the Golden Dawn version, was it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
the
it
Golden Dawn
is.
version.
I don't know. I just since last episode, it feels like it was appropriate.
Yeah, you
Mm.
should.
Kind of
It's
pull that
nice.
up.
I mean, we could also bring up the Hermetic, I guess, because they have similar symbols or more
Yeah,
even
Let's bring up all
for
of
the
them.
for the Thoth.
All of them.
Let's bring all. But I mean, it's also connected with the original, so the original stuff. So yes, maybe if I find it, I can bring it up during the episode. So
it also has
yeah,
the colors in there. That's what I was kind of thinking now. It will remind
yeah.
us to talk about colors. I know we don't forget.
I have it
because
Yes,
Luigi is
I
very good
have
at
it
it.
on the list. But we shall talk about the color schemes today. If you don't do it, you have to drop us a comment after that we miss it. That's the tactic we're going to go with. Well, yes, so we are in the middle of the Cancer decans. Again, if you're just dropping in and this is the first time you're joining, we do have the decanic wheel on our Instagram. So the wheel of the year, basically, with all the decans on it. So you can check it out. You can also
and
just
in
look it
the
up online.
community,
In the
community tab, is it that community tab? Yeah,
let's just call it that if it's not called that.
I don't know.
So yes, so I can also hold up manually for you guys so you can see. So currently we are in July. We are still in Cancer. So this is the wonderful wheel of the year, and we are in Cancer. We talked about the first decan of Cancer last time, and now we are in the second decan of Cancer. So we're going to talk about the corresponding card and a little bit about this decan as well tonight. So strap in. I mean, it's Cancer, is cups, right? So you could be like, what could go wrong? I mean, we're just coming from the swords, but I mean, it's nice. It's nice decans in a way.
I'm sure I'll say something negative. So
I can totally bring up some, other stuff as well. So we shall cover both sides. But in general, it has a, let's say, nicer, rounder feeling than if you're going to talk about the 8 or 9 and 8, 10 of swords, like we did. We started
I mean, the
with.
Smith deck, I think, is probably the most.
It's just so
positive and
celebratory. Yeah, it's really just, I mean, who would not want to be one of these ladies in that moment? You're just celebrating I mean, it's called abundance, right? And you're just completely living it in that, or they're just completely living it in that moment. It just looks so witchy as well. Like, sorry, but I do not see anything else but like a pagan witchiness celebration here, running around in circles with your like cups up high in the air. And I mean, in the second that we just had, where it was more about a very intimate card, and we're talking a lot about like intimacy and love in our last episode. And here the guys, the guys, well, the presumed female and man, the couple, are exchanging the waters of life here with these cups. They're presumably not doing that. Look at it. You can just look at it. It's so peaceful. You have like you have fruits down here. You have flowers. You have just the dance and the motion and the happiness in its abundance. It's lovely.
I feel like it's one of those cards even though it's just a card, when I say just, I mean it's a drawing. I can still hear music in the background. Like every time I see it, there's an essence of party, feasting. Like let's have a feast and dancing. Yeah, feels very celebratory.
It does. It does. Yeah.
What song do you think? What song do you hear?
I'm
song do you-
partial because, like I'm basic, but I always hear Dancing Queen every time I see the card.
Dancing Queen.
Yeah.
Wow. I was just hearing fiddles and, like more like pagan music. People on fiddles and that's what I was hearing.
Yeah. That's
And
also
Yeah, or
applicable.
like
fairy
like
sound.
Irish,
Yeah.
proper like Irish
Yes.
pub
And
music
bam, bam.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
Celtic
that,
rhythms
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, sure, Dancing Queen, yes, let's go with that.
They can play Dancing Queen with fiddles and flutes and
Absolutely.
things.
I
Yeah,
would love to
that's-
hear, like, if there's any creator out there that is listening, hopefully, if you can create a Celtic version of Dancing Queen, that would be a beautiful thing. Thank you so much.
It might be out there. I should share this. It's not very long ago, and I've kind of lost track of that now, but I found an artist on Spotify who recreates music in like with medieval sounds. And she has done, or they have done, a lot of like these very modern songs, but she or they also changed the lyrics a little bit, so it sounds more like old. So it's like thee and thou, and some of the words are more like, instead of here, it might be hearken, like, so they change it to a little bit old-timey language as well, but also with the sounds of medieval instruments, and it is hilarious. I'll have to find
That sounds
that
great.
afterwards to share with you guys, and we can also drop it below for people to check it out, because it's like, if you look up like bardcore as like as a, what's it called, theme, wow, my brain also heat, but as a genre, there we go. If you look that up as a genre, this is supposedly bardcore as well.
Here's another rabbit hole.
Yes, absolutely. So many of them. Anyway, yes, the Three of Cups. Shall we? Well, we've talked about a little bit about the Smith. We haven't really looked at the Thoth that much yet, but also here you've got the Three Cups overflowing. You have very light colors. I mean, you know what? I mean, I like the card. I don't get this card very often. I don't, actually, not for myself. I get the 2 a lot. Not seen the 3 this much lately. But we can talk about decanic rulers actually before we get there, because the rulers of this decan is Mercury for the descending order, and not to confuse anybody, but I've done this. And the triplicity order, it is Mars. And when we're looking at the decan itself, the more Picatrix and a bit more original decans, again, we're in Cancer, right? So it's very much about nurturing, it's about intimacy, it's about bringing things together. Nurturing is like a big topic now with Cancer. And the nurturing that we've had in the Two of Cups is still continuing now in the second decan, but it might be a bit more active, or a bit more active. Again, also with the second decans, it's like we're in the fixed version of the sign itself. So the first is also a little bit like cardinal, the second is a little bit fixed, and the third decan has more of a mutable quality. So now I have a fixed quality to this Cancerian energy. And with the rulers being Mercury and Mars, with Mercury, what I know, or with this decan, it's a little bit like, so what I've heard is like people who have like Mercury in this decan, for example, it's this energy of that you're just talking really freely and really without being very guarded. It's like, for example, when you just either being with friends that you trust a lot and you can just like talk without a filter, that kind of energy.
Back.
Yeah, it's not holding back, not needing to hold back. Yeah, enjoying that, or the drunk talk where you're just, letting go and everything comes out, and, it's just very, and you are like in the safe space, or the feeling that you want to be, in the safe space. While the
where your heart could be your heart on your sleeve.
Yeah, wearing your heart on your sleeve. Yes. It's that is kind of the Mercurial energy here, and the Martian energy here, because we think that, Mars and this intimate and feeling like abundance and this very emotional card doesn't jive so well with what we usually think of as Martian being very like and fire and a bit aggression. But Mars also has this quality of protection, and we're thinking that that's the quality that's coming in here. it's like you're being in a zone that is safe, also like Cancer wants to protect, right? And in this second decan, it's kind of also this having this protected space or trying to create it, or in a negative sense, of course, in a that you have lost it or something. But it's about having like a protected space, and Mars is trying to protect what's on the inside, protect against what's on the outside. So the bad things circling around while you're having a party, there might be those, you're having a party, but there might be like wolves and tigers outside there trying to tear down your
Enemies,
village.
eavesdropping.
Enemies. Yeah, eavesdrop. You might have people who are jealous of this, right? It could just be something like somebody who's not wanting you to be like that, and not wanting you to have all this abundance. And that's what the energy is kind of trying to protect you from. But this other side, the stuff that is outside the walls, is also present in this decan, right? So we are focusing on what's inside, the good stuff, or what we hope is good, but the stuff that's outside and threatening to come in or threatening your status quo right now is also very much present. And that is kind of the Martian energy here. So much,
That's beautiful.
so much about that.
No, it's cute, not cute, that's the wrong word for it. But like it's interesting to observe how it doesn't matter what system you're using, you can always find rationale behind each system, each version. I love in tarot specifically, I suppose, I love its flexibility, its dynamicity, dynamicism,
Dynamics?
dynamicism.
Yeah, dynamic.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like a Capricorn would be, like myself. Like you can't shift me from this path. I will stay here. I feel like tarot is definitely something that I can learn from in more ways than one, in terms of how tarot invites you to approach flexibility.
Definitely, or it should. Yeah.
I'm noticing something that is probably the first time that I ever noticed it. Again, always apologies because I'm using a Radiant and not an original Smith deck or whatnot. But it's interesting that the colors, obviously, the topic of colors will come up very often, but the colors of the clothing of the maidens, yellow, red, and white, very
Yes.
similar to the color pattern on the top, the red pomegranate seeds with the yellow flowers and the white light. Like it's interesting that in both decks, color pattern repeats, or at least mirrors each other.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be like natural though, or wanted? Since we know, I mean, they do work with the colors and with both the planetary colors and other in these decks. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of correspondences or congruences like that.
True,
They
true.
agree. Yeah. But let's talk more. Let's talk more about the colors, since we wanted to in both of them. So I'm not very good. I don't know my colors in combination with the planets and everything that well.
Mhm.
So we'll have to rely on you. But
That's
I mean,
okay.
red, I can see the red is the Martian quality. I mean, red
Yes.
is Martian.
Yes.
So that could be that. The
So obviously
yellow.
you have the obviously you have the triplicity aspect that you mentioned of the decanic rulership with Mars, but from a Kabbalistic perspective. So when we think about yellow, red, and what do we say? White. So obviously
White.
white, because in this particular card, like we mentioned, I'm going to hold them to the screen. So we know we have the influence of Cancer, and we know that we have the rulership, the decanic rulership of Mercury, and we are in the number 3 in the Sephira of Binah. So that's very relevant because Binah is connected to Keter via the magician, Mercury themselves. So the yellow can be a representation of the color of air. So yellow is the color associated to elemental air. And the white, it could be the pathway that the magician, Mercury, ruler of the Three of Cups, follows. Obviously, we know that the red could be Mars related to Gevora. And the pathway that leads to Gevora from Binah, that would be Cancer, that would be the chariot. So
Right.
all of
Of
that
course.
yeah, so all of that
Yes.
particular pathway, I suppose, perfectly depicted in the Three of Cups. And I think that's possibly one of the few reasons as we have this prevalence of yellow, red, and white.
I guess it could also connect. I mean, the yellow would, I guess, also connect to the sun and Tiferet, right? So it'd be all this like abundance, and although we don't have like sun as a ruler or anything here, but I feel like this energy of the sun might still be in the card, and we know we need the sun to grow, and
Certainly.
usually Usually these kind of
Especially
scenes happen when it's a little bit sunny, not so
sunny.
much when it's... Although today, when the thunder came down and the rain came down, this was happening with me at least, when it was raining last night. It's like, yes, finally.
I think, yeah, because you're right. We're still in... No, we're not far behind the solstice. Like, its energy is
Yeah.
still
It just
emanating and
happened.
very present. So you have that to consider as well. Another thing, and this is probably not full disclosure, it's not personally from me. It's something that I read, or rather got inspired by. I need to remind myself of his name. He's an esoterist that I've been following for some time. Bart, I think his name is Bart.
Oh, yes, yes,
Bart.
yes, yes.
Yes, so he is very into the top tradition, into Crowley and the Thelema tradition and whatnot. So check out his material. He's a genius, produces lots of great content. Him and
I find following
colleague of
him
his.
on Instagram, if you're into Thoth, is like you have to.
Yeah.
It's a
So
I have
must.
to
him,
drop him as well.
and I
Yeah.
forgot, I think it's Paul. There's a writer as well, another academic, another esoteric mage. The two of them together, it's like watching Stardust at work. But I'm
That's
saying that
great.
because he was pointing out how the pomegranate seeds in the top deck of the Three of Cups were alluding to the pathways that lead from Keter to Tiferet for the central one, from Hesed to Natsak, which would be the pathway of the Wheel of Fortune. The previous one would be the pathway of the Priestess or the Aradia, like I like to call her. And then from Geburah to Hod, you have the pathway of the Hanged One. And I mention them, and I bring us back to what Bart was talking about, because in a way they all make sense. We have the Hanged One. I'm using tough images and mixing them with Smith images.
That's great. It's our Chaos Crew.
Let me find the cards. There you go. So I think, well, no, I think, who am I to say that? But I am presuming that the bigger elements of these three cup-shaped pomegranate seeds depicting the pathways, those particular pathways. So the pathway of the Priestess, the Aradia, the pathway of the Hanged One, the pathway of the Wheel of Fortune. They probably are significant in this card because we know that the Hanged One represents the element of water, the element of Cancer. We know that the Aradia, also being water elemented or elemental related, being the moon, the ruler of Cancer. And the Wheel of Fortune, depending on views, because people may view the Wheel of Fortune or Jupiter as fire. I personally view Jupiter as water, but not. It doesn't matter whether it's fire or water. What matters is that Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune, is exalted in Cancer. So you have this free.
Also, Jupiter, no, just one little note, because Jupiter's exact point of exaltation is in the second decan of Cancer.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
so Jupiter, yes.
And that's exactly when we get like the new cycle every year, isn't it? The Jupiter entering a new sign. Again, indicating abundance, the planet of abundance, the planet encouraging abundance. So yeah, you got all of those positive,
Expansive, definitely. I would say
expansive,
expansive. Yeah.
Psychic,
I mean, if you,
expansive.
yeah, it can be very positive. Depends on what you expand, right?
But also what I really liked in the Golden Dawn card, because there is an additional color there, and it's the black. And I guess black is not a color, black is a hue, but the black color
all
there,
colors.
because this is in Bina, and this is has to do with creativity. So this is kind of like the womb. So this is where all the waters are gathering to create something. So this is kind of like the room where creation is being
Absolutely
made.
Yeah, I mean, you
And
do
I
have
guess
like, yeah, Bina is as black, and this is the 3, so you have it in Bina, so that would make sense, right?
yeah, absolutely. And even like the Mercurial rulership of the Deccan, even the Mercurial is more relevant than you would think it would be. I say that because when you think about it, we know that Hod, the bottom Sephira of the Pillar of Form, is also ruled by Mercury. So in a way, here we have a depiction, I suppose, in the Three of Cups. We have a depiction of the crown version of it and the kingdom version of it. I'm probably using the wrong terminology because what I mean is one of them, because the tree can be inverted, like hang one, but one of them being the foundation of the other, and one of them being the highest application of the other. Again, depending on how you twist it, whether it's Bina being the highest emanation, obviously, because we always want to climb the tree, ascend to the top supernals of the tree, and Mercury being the emanation that is closer to the physical experience. Or if you revert it, Bina being the foundation for the splendor that we as humans can either achieve or experience or aspire to through magical work and dedication and flexibility.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe this is just my speculation thing, whatever.
Mhm.
Also, Bina is the last Sephira that jumps over dark. It doesn't jump over, but it's the third one in the triad before things kind of take form. So I feel the blackness as well, no, it's not just a room, it's also that this darkness, let's say
The abyss.
darkness, the abyss that, you know, in the next card, obviously you're jumping
crossed it.
through,
Yeah.
or you cross it. I know a lot of people think, you know, darkness, it's evil, it's, you know, to me, everybody knows. I like the color black. It's not a color, it's a hue, but I always loved black, and I always got people getting really funny about it because they thought it was a horrible color to like and wear. And in my room, everything was black. But I find
Painted black.
the black color to me is the most creative color because there's nothing there. There's not even light there. And therefore, there's nothing but also everything. So this is where everything comes from. And I always seen it this way. And before I knew all of this, I had no idea why I thought this way. But once I studied tarot cards and this, it just made it clear to me that this is why I love black so much. I don't know why I had to like sidetrack with that, but I find that really interesting.
Black,
specifically the Golden Dawn card.
It's a great color.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
It-
hue.
Like
Hue. Yeah. Call it
It's like
whatever you
vegetable,
want. I love it.
fruit, berry, you know, what is a tomato? Is it like a fruit, a berry, a vegetable, a tube? It's not a tuber. So, you know, same thing, whatever.
But this is what I find. If you stare at a black color long enough, your brain the creativity will just come, and you will see different things. And
it's a whole thing. It's a whole magical practice with dark mirrors or looking into mirrors in the dark. It's like a whole different energy. So
absolutely,
yeah.
and therefore, for me,
Children
that's like
don't do it
the
at home without
abyss.
supervision.
No, I mean, I would definitely not, encourage everyone to do it. But I just find it really interesting in this card specifically.
Yeah.
I haven't read any books that say that it is so, but to me, it is.
If you want to be spontaneous, because I found the Three of Cups in the Hermetic, it's not, the symbolism is not, it's like not very different from the Thoth. So it's quite the same, but not entirely. I don't know how much in detail we want to go. We also have 3 cups. Now here's like definitely cups. I do not see the pomegranate here. It's like the lotus. We have the lotus flowers in it. The top. We also have lotus flowers like on the very top here. Is sprouting, as I'm assuming it's also lotus, and then the double lotus on the first cup going into these others, and then on the bottom we have like this the receiving thing on the bottom, which we kind of also have here in the Thoth, I suppose, but it's a bit more pronounced, and it almost looks like it's growing out of it as well as it's nurturing it. Like it's kind of like it looks more like a cycle to me.
That's beautiful.
I'm just, it's very spontaneous. I'm not using this deck very often. And then also we're having a different base. Like this is very clear in this we're like on the waters. We're standing like on the waters with like all of or most of the cups, like also in the 2, you know, we're like, it's like the same place. It just changes a bit. Always having this water. We can assume that this is also water, but it looks to me more like it's clouds, or I'm not sure. I mean, it should be water, obviously it's cups, but the texture's a bit different.
Here too.
Right,
And there
yeah.
is a beautiful, there's
You
a
have the
beautiful
way, you have ways,
explanation,
yeah.
and there's a
Yeah.
beautiful explanation to that because
Oh,
obviously
please
another
explain.
term of the pillar of form, the pillar of I don't like the word severity, but what's famously known as the pillar of severity is also the pillar of the cloud, because the pillar of force on the opposite side, the pillar of again, I don't like the word, but mercy, famously known as mercy, that's the pillar of fire. So the cloud,
Okay.
it's the archetypal energy, object, method, vessel, whatever name you want to attach to it. But basically, the purpose of the cloud is to protect the flame.
Right.
Because the flame is the power, the flame is the magic. The cloud, the form, like the principles of the pillar of form, are there to protect the powers or the forces of the pillar of, again, repeating myself, of the pillar of force. So that could be a very reasonable explanation as to why you will have clouds in the three in particular, but maybe even in other cards that are on the right, on the left side of the tree as well.
On the left, right? Yeah, I can look at for some. We can see. Follow-up question: in that system with cloud and fire, is that has the middle pillar a particular name, or is this also just like the middle, or what's the middle pillar's element?
No, not in the way to my knowledge, at least. I'm very happy to be wrong because obviously I don't know everything. But to my knowledge, I never heard of alternative. The same way that they have the flame and the cloud. I never heard of an additional or the same related title for the middle pillar. Because I suppose in the middle pillar. The principle of the middle pillar is the union of the two pillars, but also a product of the two pillars. So maybe on that rationale, you may not need a title for it, but it's very probable that it exists, and I just haven't come across it yet. Maybe somebody else out there has.
Yeah.
What
So
about if it's the fire? So you have the fire in the mass, and then you have the water in the watery. When those two combine, you get steam, and it gets steamy, and from that comes the cloud.
That's also very true, chemically speaking as well. I was thinking about it when you were
Yeah.
explaining the triplicity order of the decanic rulers. I was thinking about boiling water for obvious reasons. And there was something else when you were holding the hermetic. Was it the hermetic deck that you just had in black and white?
the hermetic, yes. Yes.
Yeah. So you know how
Yes,
you
the
were
hermetic.
saying that the bottom cup was more pronounced. That also completely makes sense because we know that that would represent Yesod, ruled by the moon, the ruler of Cancer. So it's kind of sending us a message of how that Saphira is influencing the rest of the vessels, the rest of the trees in this particular card because of its astrological relationship with the moon.
Yeah, I just found some other cards, and it would seem like a lot of the ones from the left-hand pillar or the pillar of the clouds does have clouds in it. Like I found the Five of Pentacles, for example, there's clouds on the bottom. It's just a random five. The Eight of Cups also looks to have like a similar one. The Three of Wands, for example, also with something that could be clouds. While on the other side, if I look at because I also found some Seven, for example, and I mean, this is the Seven of Pentacles, and I'm not necessarily seeing fire in this design, or the Seven of Swords, but I do, but it's not clouds, so it's different.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
needs to be explored, but yeah, the
I
clouds
wish there was a book. Maybe there is. I wish there was like a bigger book for the hermetic. Because the book is so tiny, it doesn't really give you much. And I know
It
it's
feels like
based.
it's still very secretive. It's like this has been secret for so long, so now we're releasing it, but we're not giving you the whole story, so you have to unlock it yourself. I kind of feel it's a little bit.
Absolutely. But though the hermetic, I think the hermetic one, the Golden Dawn one, and the Thoth one, they share a lot of things like together. But then you kind of have
They're
to
all Golden
suss
Dawn,
out
so
which.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're all based on the Golden Dawn, but then obviously
Yes.
you have to suss out I guess Thoth is Hermes, they're all related to one another.
Yeah.
Therefore, they're quite similar. But I do like the Hermetic Tarot. It's just so rich in symbolism. It's crazy.
Some of it can be a bit overwhelming, I suppose, if you don't. Also the angels and everything.
Absolutely,
You got
yeah.
a lot in that.
what did I want to say? Oh yeah, I read somewhere that also I think it's just the I don't think I know it's the Thoth tarot
Mhm.
because of the pomegranate is also linked to Persephone. Is that the correct
Persephone?
Persephone.
Persephone?
Persephone, yes.
Yeah, that would make
Um,
sense because obviously, again, we have. I'm mixing now with the Smith, but I suppose because we have the rulership of the moon, we have the pomegranate seeds related to the priestess, the Aradia. So it makes, again, complete sense to have the pomegranate as a symbolism of the luminary that influences this particular decan. Not in terms of rulership of the specific decan, because we have Mercury, but it's in relation of the natural ruler of the sign, I mean.
Mm.
And I guess it's giving a foreshadow as well, because again, we're not there just yet, but we are going to descend to the underworld fairly soon at the end of the season, you know,
Yes.
seasonally speaking, that is. I was trying to read the names, which I'm sure the names of archangels, the names in Hebrew of the Three of Cups from the Hermetic one that you had, but my Hebrew is not that strong still.
just
You know,
butcher it with some English or
yes, it's fine. Or
Italian. Do like an Italian one.
Well, I feel like the one on the left underneath the symbol of Mercury, I'm thinking that's Raphael, but I'm not entirely
This
sure.
one?
Yes, so underneath Mercury, I think that says Raphael, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm saying Raphael because I'm reading the L at the end and the A, so Al.
Yeah, there's Aleph. I think it's is it Rashet Aleph? So it's probably
Mm.
Raphael. Yeah, that might be. But oh my gosh, don't strike me down
Yeah,
because
no,
my
and
Hebrew is rustier than yours. It's been
yeah,
a while. And then
and
there's
I'm
two
in,
yods in this one. So yes, what's then under the cancer?
yeah,
Oh, this is very.
I see only one yod in that one, unless I'm
There's
looking at the wrong image. But yeah, because I
yeah,
got what looks like
there's
Keth
here and there.
and Beth and a Vav and a yod and a Hey.
There's a yod and then another yod at the end.
No, but I think
Wow.
at the end
Which
that's
trying to
that's a,
butcher Hebrew. So sorry. Okay. Butchering Hebrew live. Well, not live, but you know.
yeah.
But that just makes me go back into wanting to actually be able to read it again. So that's a good thing to be like a little bit embarrassed now that I cannot read it. So
Well, Raphael
the
makes sense
yeah.
because it's one of the. I don't really work with archangel in my pagan path, you know that. But to my knowledge, is one of the archangels related to Mercury. So that would be why it's underneath the sign of it.
I have to say something. This
Please say.
is right now. It would be great to have Adriana because
You probably
she's
read
pretty
it.
good with archangels.
Mm.
So we have to ask this question because
Right.
I have
And
a feeling that
Hebrew
she
as
would
well.
have a good input on this particular matter.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
bet she's Miss in a short search doesn't fulfill the needs of this. But one thing I also thought that now this is probably like more than 5 minutes ago that you said this, Luigi, but I just found it very beautiful. Like when you said that the clouds is there to protect the fire,
Mm.
and then the implication though that the fire pillar is the masculine pillar, right? And the cloud pillar is the feminine pillar. That being so openly that the feminine is there to protect the masculine.
Yeah.
It's like, I was just like,
Very
whoa.
controversial.
Yeah, but I'm like, oh, I mean, we're to protect each other in different ways, right? But I found that very lovely, and that hit something when I heard that. I was like,
Yeah, because in the tradition, oh, go on.
No.
I was just gonna say, in the tradition, you know that each Sephira also has a magical weapon, maybe even more than one, associated to it. And for Hokmah and Binah, and I mentioned those two in particular because they are at the top of the pillars themselves, and they are the foundation of the supernal triangle. So they're both, the magical weapons of those two Sephirah are both cloaks, but the Hokmah cloak is the inner cloak. What is it? Cloak of glory, and the Bina cloak, it's the outer cloak of concealment. Again, giving you a different analogy for this principle of the cloud covering the flame. or protecting the flame, not just simply covering.
I like that. I want to sit with that kind of a little bit. I've just had a lot of like concealing, like veiling, but also revealing, like this kind of duality, but this kind of thing like lately. So that, yeah, I like it. Little addition here to our very spontaneous exploration into ancient names and different names of the pillars. And the ancient names that we saw on the Hermetic Tarot are Rakael and Yekamaya. Different spellings for Yekamaya. It's both Yekamaya, Yepamaya, and similar. And about the pillars of cloud and fire, that is thanks to Luigi. He looked it up after, and he says that according to the myth of the Bible, in the narrative of the Book of Exodus, the Lord Almighty provided a pillar of cloud by day to shield the people from the desert sun and guide the route, and at night transformed it into a pillar of fire to illuminate their path and provide them with warmth. And that is a scene that you can see in the Prince of Egypt. And I like it.
New rabbit
I was
holes.
just thinking, like, is like the so you have the feminine is containing the masculine as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
If you wanna go there,
yes, containing everything.
if you wanna go there, it's the feminine is containing the masculine because it came from the Two of Cups into the Three of Cups, so it's containing. And also, now when you guys are talking about the blanket, the veil, it makes me think of like the veil of Isis. For some reason, that's what popped up in my head.
Yeah. And that's
The
very
veil
much
of Isis.
it's very much Aradia/priestess related as well. The veil of Isis, the veil of the temple, the veil of knowledge, the veil of the abyss. I should have enunciated them more. The veil of the abyss.
The veil of the abyss.
We cover so much.
Nature.
Were we just supposed to talk about one card? No, never, because there's so many that relate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People will have more questions at this point.
There's
Than
more
answers.
questions than answers. That's good, because that way you learn something. Like me, okay, now I have to go study my Hebrew again because that was bad. Let's go. Yeah. What else shall we say about our second decan? I mean, it's from. I didn't say the dates. It's from the 2nd of July until the 11th. So yeah, today is like the last. The day where we're recording is the last day of the decan, and then we go into the next one. I mean, the Queen of Cups, I suppose. It's the last decan for the Queen of Cups as well. She's covering the 10 of Swords, because the queens are like all of them, they cover one of the previous zodiac sign, or usually as their like shadow side in a sense, so what they're not so very comfortable with. So for the Queen of Cups, and for the queens, they govern mostly the cardinals. So in the Cancer's cardinal, so the Queen of Cups is happy here in the first and the second decan of Cancer. And then we get the Prince of Wands for the 4 of Cups, where he's not so very comfortable. We can talk about this next time. When we're covering the 4, when we do cover the 4. Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful card because it can deliver several blessings on multiple layers and multiple levels of our daily life and non so daily life. Again, I don't necessarily mean to have the entire episode focus on Kabbalistic correspondences and or interpretations, but I think this card really incorporates the Kabbalistic teaching of that particular area of the tree. Particularly what I mean by area, the top left corner that will connect again Bina and Keter, and the principles of everything that we possess in terms of skills, knowledge, gifts, applications. Their intention is to provide, create abundance. Because we know that the light is contained in Bina, but it's contained not just simply trapped, not just simply sealed, not just simply imprisoned. It's being contained to then serve for abundant purposes, reasons, means, and so forth. So yeah, it's difficult to depict without visuals and whatnot. Like it's all happening in the heart of my mind and in the mind of my heart. I can
Good
appreciate how
combination. Yeah.
as above so below.
Mhm.
But I can appreciate that it's not so easily translated words wise.
No, but I feel like, I mean, yes, words are important, but I feel also like just if you're getting that energy out and people connect with that, they understand. So it's how we all communicate in a way. But since communicating, and I brought up the Queen of Cups, I just thought I should bring her out as well. And we're actually having a lot of things that we've talked about with the Three of Cups on the Two of Cups reflected in the Thoth Queen of Cups, at least. The first thing, also just the thing we just mentioned with, with the veil, like veiling or unveiling, because she is also veiled in the Thoth, and we also have we have the reflections, right? I feel like somebody talked about reflections. Or am I making
As
it up?
above,
Now
so below.
as above, so below. But also
The mirror.
I feel like the mirror is actually different than the top. But anyway, we can talk about this at a different point, maybe, or now. I don't know. But anyway, also we have the lotus. We have lotus flowers here in her little pond. And we have a lot of sacred geometry because,
Water
that's what we're doing.
lilies.
That's what we're dealing with.
She's really beautiful.
I love the Queen of Cups so much. Yeah.
I think
mean,
in her journey, it's wonderful how she overcame what we conceptualize as ruin, her shadow, understood love, and embraces now abundance, or at least the abundance that love provides. Through inner reflection, through astral journeying and whatnot. But
yeah.
again, it teaches us, take it with a grain of salt, because obviously there are circumstances to every single individual history and situation. But it teaches us again the beautiful wisdom that the power lays within us. The power comes from the realm within and whatnot. And not power to enslave, not power to destroy, maybe to destroy, but I guess the power to create, the power of Bria, the realm of water, the power to provide, the power to nurture, the mother power, the divine mother. So yeah.
I mean, the seeds are there for everything, right? It's just like what you use it for.
I guess that's also one of the cautions, I guess, with the Three of Cups, because there's always a caution for everything, right? Is not to just take that abundance for granted, because it's so overflowing, and you get so happy and so entwined in everything. There's also a caution of, how to say, doing something with it, because we know what's coming in the Four of Cups as well.
But,
so it's the kind of caution of having so much that
do
it
not
gets a
allow
little
the
bit too
opportunity.
much.
Yeah, do not allow the opportunity to stagnate if you can avoid
That's
that.
it. That's it. That's it.
But also
the
idea
stagnation
that,
of it.
but also again, this idea that you have the wolves behind the walls, right? That you're trying to protect yourself from. So while you're having your happy little party, there might be people plotting against you at that very moment. And to not be blind to that. Enjoy the moment. Carpe diem.
Basically, get drunk and stuff, but make sure you're amongst friends.
Yeah,
do it conscientiously.
That is true. Well, yeah. Any last words to the Three of Cups? Any last words? We did talk about the color scheme, so a little bit, right? But
I'm
did.
checking for the color scheme. 1 second.
Yes. So you talked about the colors for the Smith, and it's reflected in the Thoth as well, the same colors. We also have the blue in the background, which is the same, but for the color schemes, and
so because it's
there's more to
Cancer,
it.
colors associate to the many worlds of Cancer, or at least Cancer within the many worlds of the Kabbalistic tree. We have amber, maroon, russet, and greenish brown.
We have,
which I don't see particularly in this card, I suppose, but I'm also colorblind.
Yes, so that doesn't help, Luigi. But there's a lot of all in the Smith, with the fruits. There's a lot of, I think, russet. A lot of do you have the green and do you have the brown scales and russet and all that? I think it's very well represented in the Thoth. The stilks are kind of brownish. So we have the color
and the gown. the gown of one of the maidens in the Smith can be like the bottom of it can be kind of like maroon, dark maroon, and that's that's the Briatic color. So it makes sense because we are in the realm of Bria at the moment. So yeah, like we always gonna find, obviously, understandably, that they channel the color schemes in these cards as per tradition. But only those who are not colorblind can enjoy it. No, I'm kidding. I'm not limiting anyone, but I really struggle. I really like, what? Isn't this pink? I swear this is pink.
You know, close enough.
I
All right.
try.
Yes. It's not easy with colors. It's so much about
I
colors and
keep
the Three of Cups.
I keep looking at the, what is it called? Cornucopia.
Copian,
Yeah, I keep looking at this because it's really like it's there growing for us to harvest for Halloween. My brain is on Halloween.
Oh yes, we're ending the year early. It's already
Let it
Samhain.
come.
No.
But I mean, it needs
there.
a little bit of time to grow. So, but it's there. It's
there.
waiting.
It's true. It's a little small. It's true. Yeah, we can wait.
Yeah,
for
it's a little small.
bit.
You know, first we have to party a little bit and have a little bit of a dance. You know, and
One last observation is even worth mentioning. Well, let's just do it for the
yes.
sake of it. You know, I was thinking about. This is the season of the Three of Cups, like we discussed since the beginning of the episode, right? And then we know that, like Lynn, you mentioned at some point down the line that this is also the season when we have Jupiter, Zenith, but also Jupiter obviously entering a new section of the heavens, a new realm of the heavens. So what I'm trying to get here is the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune plus the number 3 of the Three of Cups, giving us the number 13 of death and change and transformation. And I only mentioned that because, in this season, death is obviously a theme of Binah, first of all, but also like every big change will bring a quote unquote F slash metamorphosis of some kind, with its blessings and with its loss. Maybe not necessarily, but I'm trying to connect this theme of abundance, not just purely spoiled abundance. There is an aspect of the sacred law of giving and receiving, isn't it? Like for something to be given, you need to create space, and therefore you need to, what's the word? Expose and or release.
What better way to release and to share, like in shared dancing and shared happiness, right?
Get wasted.
Get wasted. Dionysus is waiting.
What's the song? Just shake it off.
Shake it out. Well, all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode on the Three of Cups and that you found some enjoyment in your time of Three of Cups as well this year. If you have anything particular abundant happening, just drop us a comment, let us know. And we're looking forward to seeing you in the next episode. Try not to get sucked into all the wormholes, like we do. Drop us a comment below or like and subscribe. And see you in the next episode, guys. Thanks for joining. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
We are the voices of the Occultinarium. Welcome to the rabbit holes.